All right. Very good morning. Very good evening. Welcome to Wismo Technologies. Mallikarjun here. Uh, Here is a quick demonstration on recent issue what we faced in our lab exercise. We got this error message ORA-19660. Some files in the backup set could not be verified, and that pretty much says the moment say backup set could not be verified. Why you were unable to verify? Why RMAN is not able to verify those backup pieces or the data files? Maybe some corruption in the data files, or maybe some corruption in the backup pieces. That's a assumption. Or maybe the backup piece or the backup files or the data files is not exist. Because of that, it is not able to verify it. Maybe whatever reason. So when we got this error message, what's the reason behind what activity we are performing? Let's take a look on that in details in this particular session here. The issue is a standby database built from active database. So what we are doing here, what activity we are trying to achieve? We were trying to build a brand new standby database for my production database. And while building this standby database, we got this error message, Vara 19660, right? So we are building the standby database using this active database duplicate without backup, directly connecting to prod and standby and building the standby database. That's RMAN error message what we saw here. Aborting duplicate target database, error in the stored memory script, and unhandled user defined exception. That's a error message what we got. So again, if I go further, this particular Vara error message in the further details here. So that is unhandled exceptions. Some of the files in the backup set could not be verified. That's the data file 7 could not be verified. Precisely, it's going to give what all the data files are could not be verified. So again, here think of I'm using an active database duplicate, meaning directly reading a production data files, restoring it to standby site. So even though it says some files in the backup set could not be verified, it's not a backup set, it's the data files are not verified. If you're using a standby database build from the backup, so it says that backup set could not be verified. Here it's not a backup set, it's a data file of the primary could not be verified. Precisely, that's the data file 7 could not be verified because the data file has some corruption. Few data files on the primary or production database has the block corruption. Because of that, RMAN is unable to verify it, and then our restore or active database duplicate was failing. The fix or corruption, fix or how to handle this issue. The fix these corrupted blocks on the primer side and retry the standby database build using active database duplicate. Again, how to fix this block corruption? Maybe you can use a block recovery using a valid RMAN backup. And if you don't have a valid backup, you can compromise with the data loss. You can remove those corrupted blocks by ignoring those, or you can drop those data files and recreate those data files if those data files are not needed or don't have any valid data. Right? Like the detailed explanation is here. I have connected to my standby server. Oracle Lab 3 is my standby server, and connected to SQL plus SysDBA. And then I start up no mount using this P file. This is my dummy P file. A DRDB is my dummy P file. I started my DR database in no mount using the dummy P file with a few parameters. My database instance is started. And now I'm using this active database duplicate. How I'm using active database duplicate? Let's see here. RMAN, target, sys user, sys password. A devdb is my production database. I'm connecting to this devdb production database, which is running under somewhere in the remote server. Using this TNS entry, I'm connecting to my production database. A devdb, which is a production database we connected. And also I'm connecting to my standby database where we're building this brand new standby database as an auxiliary. Connect auxiliary sys password drdb. The drdb is my standby database which you are building it. So it says same as the name devdb, which is not mounted. Why? Because we just now started the drdb in no mount, and drdb says it's also devdb because db name is always remain same between the production and standby, because your standby is nothing but a replica or duplicate copy of your production database. In this case, my production database is devdb. Whatever the drdb we are building is a devdb. The db name remains same between the prod and dr. So connected here, and I'm running this duplicate script here. What this duplicate script has run: allocate two channel to read the production database production data files, allocate 2 channels to recover or restore my standby database. So 2 to 4 channel I'm allocating 2 channels for reading my production database and restoring 2 channels my DR database. We're restoring using these auxiliary channels. So I'm running this command: duplicate target database for standby from active database. I'm not giving from backup location. I'm directly telling from active database, meaning directly read the production data files because you already connected to production database here, and then read those data files and restore it on the target side. That's the active database duplicate. Parameter value convert wherever devdb, that's the production database name, restore it as a drdb. DB name is devdb. The DB name remains same between the prod and DR. DB unique name is going to be drdb. On the standby side, the unique name for the standby database is drdb, and the log file name convert, DB file name convert here. Whatever WARA data devdb has to convert WARA data drdb. The log file, whatever WARA data devdb has to convert into WARA data drdb. Whatever the fast recovery area devdb has to convert into fast recovery area drdb. So that's my RMAN duplicate script, active database duplicate script. So what it has ran here, it went further. It has restored SP file, and then it started with the SP file, and then it has restored my control file here. Right, it started with the SP file here, and it has restored my control file here. Control file one, control file two control files got restored here, and then it has mounted my database, and then it has started restoring my all the data files here. So after data files are restored, it got this error message: data file 7 could not be verified. ORA-19660, ORA-19661. Some of the files in the backup set could not be verified. Precisely, data file 7 could not be verified. So what I did is that data file 7, this is my data file 70007. This is the name of the data file here. DRDB data file, and this is the data file name. Is this data file actually restored on the target side, on the DR side? I verified here. I went to that ORA data, DRDB in data file, try to verify. No such a file are directory. Means that data file 7 is not restored. Okay, fine. That's not restored. I went into the data file location, ls-ltr, sysawk, system undo restored, but that user data file not yet restored on the standby side. Okay, that's fine. Let's go to production site. On the production database, is that data file 007, the user data file, is it valid? I went into production site here. Lab 1 is my production server. Oracle Lab 3 is my DR standby server. Here I went to this Oracle Lab 1 production server. Under that same location, Vara data devdb data file. So I have this valid user data file, but why I'm unable to restore it on the target side, restore it on the DR side. So we have this db verify tool. I ran that db verify file. I gave that user data file, and then it gave me output, and it clearly says total pages marked for corrupted 1. Here is the corruption. So it means the one of that user data file has the corruption. Because of that, we are unable to restore. RMAN is unable to restore it on the target side. Okay, great. Let's verify at the database level. On the same Oracle Lab 1, I connected to my production database. That's a DevDB database, SQL plus SHDBA. I ran this vdollar database underscore block underscore corruption. Great. File number 7, that's a user data file. Block number 354 has one corruption. Okay, that's the underlying root cause. My RMAN active database duplicate failed to build my standby database because source database has this corruption. One of the data file 7, which is a user.dbf user data file, which has this block corruption. All right, great. Then what's the next plan? We have to fix this block corruption on this data file number 7 or this user data file using a valid RMAN backup. All right, so maybe if it's a real-time production issue, so you'll be having these valid RMAN backups. So in my previous session, I explained how to recover the block corruption. It will be available in my YouTube channel, Wishmore Technologies. You can go ahead and refer that block corruption. So again, as I told, it's one of my lab environment. I don't have a valid backup, right? So if it is having a valid backups, you can go ahead and recover that. After that, once the corruption is fixed, you can proceed with your active database duplicate. It's gonna go fine. So since I told this is my lab environment, I don't have any backup. I don't have any way to recover that. So in that case, I'm going to drop that user table space or the data file and then recreate the new table space or new data file and then proceed further with the standby build. Because again, as I told, disclaimer here, it's my lab. I can do whatever I want. But in real-time production use case, this is not the fix. We had to go and then fix that corrupted blocks using valid RMAN backups. Right, what I'm doing here, so drop tablespace users, including content and data files. So while dropping that user data file, again, interestingly, we got one more error. Cannot drop a default permanent tablespace. We know that whenever we create a dummy database, user tablespace is the default tablespace. So it's not allowing us to drop that. So what we did, we first created the new tablespace called user1, and then we made that user1 as a default permanent tablespace. Alter database default tablespace user1. So after we made this as a user1 default tablespace, then we went ahead and then dropped that user tablespace, drop tablespace users, including content and data files. So the user tablespace dropped. Along with that, whatever the data file 007 user.dbf file also got deleted here. Right now we can check the tablespace name. We have users1, user tablespace got deleted, including the data file. Now we reran that active database duplicate and everything went fine. Again, same thing here on lab 3. That's my DR database, SQL plus SysDBA, and startup no mount using the dummy P file. My DR database is started in no mount here. And then after that, I went ahead, connected to my primary database here, RMAN target sys password and the DR database, so DevDB, which is a production database. At the same time, I'm connecting to my DR database, connect auxiliary sys password and DRDB. Both primary and standby database, I'm connecting in one RMAN session. One is DevDB production database, and another one is again same DevDB, which is not mounted, which we started the DR database in no mount. And again, the same explanation, DRDB and production DB will be having same database name because your DR database is a duplicate copy of your production database. All right, so after that, same RMAN command, the two channels for reading the production database, two channel for recovering my standby database. Again, the command is go like duplicate target database for standby database from active database, SP file, parameter value convert, DB name, DB unique name, DB file name convert, log file name convert. That's it. So this time it went further here. It restored SP file here, and then it started with that restored SP file here, and then it has restored two control file here. After that, it started with the you know temp system sysocs undo user1. Instead of user, now user1, a new data file here. All the data files successfully restored here. Earlier, whatever that user data file which is getting errored out, now the user one data file got successfully restored because no more further block corruption on the source side. And then after that, my recover completed and RMAN exited. Right, so that's a quick intro for today. The interesting one, because we are using an active database duplicate. So meaning we are connecting to production database as well as we are connecting to standby database, and we are allocating channels to read production database, and we are allocating the channels to recover or restore my standby database. So in this active database duplicate, we figured out my production database has the block corruption, and RMAN is unable to read that data file, verify the data file, and restore it on the target side. All right, so with that, we're going to wrap it up for today. We can continue further with our upcoming sessions with new insights and furthermore insight or in-depth concept about all these new issues and scenarios. All right, until then, take care. Thank you. See you in next session. All right, bye guys.